Hello and welcome everyone to today's webinar on how to use generative AI in content management responsibly. I'm Magdalena and I'll be your host for this exciting and insightful session. As businesses embrace AI technology to streamline their content creation and management, it's more important than ever to understand how to implement these tools responsibly, avoiding risks and maintaining their benefits and maximizing their benefits. In today's session, we'll deep dive into the practical aspects of using generative AI effectively, of course, within content workflows, guided by expert insights and best practices. Please note that you can ask questions throughout the session, and because we have reserved a slot after our panel discussion to dedicate some time to answer these questions. But first, let's look at the agenda and what are we going to speak about today. We're going to deep dive into some use cases about AI adoption without control. Then our speaker is going to give practical recommendations on how to mitigate these AI risks. And of course, we're going to speak about the urgent need for AI governance in content management. At the end, as I mentioned, we are going to have a panel discussion with our speaker, and you can also ask us questions throughout the session, for which we will dedicate some time at the end. But first, let me introduce our main speaker for today. It's Tom Pijsel, our VP of Product Management at WoodWing. He will, well, he brings a wealth of experience in terms of AI's evolving role in digital content creation, and he will guide you through the importance and some facts about how to govern AI within content management. So, Tom, would you like to appear on the stage and, of course, guide us through the examples and recommendation which you'd like to share with our audience?
And let's go to the next slide.
Thank you.
So thank you, Chuck. That was very insightful. And basically what you see is that everyone is using AI, but in many cases, guardrails are missing and mistakes are made if clear governance is failing. And let me give you some of those examples. So the first example involves the AI chatbot of Air Canada. So in February, Air Canada faced a legal order to pay damages to a passenger due to the incorrect advice given by their virtual assistant. So the situation arose after the passenger dealing with the passing of his grandmother in November sought the information about bereavement fares. So the airline's virtual assistant incorrectly advised him that he could purchase a full price ticket and then claim the bereavement discount within 90 days. Based on that guidance, the passenger purchased two one-way tickets, and then later he applied for the bereavement discount. But his request was denied, so the airline informed him that the bereavement discount couldn't be applied after the tickets had been bought. So this example clearly highlights a gap in their AI governance. So you see that automated systems may sometimes provide misleading information, resulting in financial and emotional consequences for your users. A second example of failure of AI governance involves Sports Illustrated and its use of AI-generated writers. So last year, it was revealed that Sports Illustrated had been publishing articles under the names of writers who don't actually exist. These authors had complete bios and headshots, but were AI generated. For instance, one of the fake authors you see here on the screen, so Drew Otis, was described as an outdoor enthusiast, but reverse image search of this photo revealed it was an AI-generated headshot for sale on the internet. Additionally, his social media presence was non-existent. It wasn't just the author's profile that was fake. According to insiders, at least some of the content published under these names was also AI generated. So despite initial denials, the publisher quickly removed these articles from their website. In this case, this case highlights how AI can be misused in content creation, eroding trust in established media brands. So there was no disclosure to the readers that the content or authors were in fact AI generated. And this raises serious ethical concerns about transparency and accountability. Worse still, it undermines readers' trust in journalism in general, so a field where integrity of authorship and content is crucial. So this example shows that AI, when poorly governed, can harm both your reputation and trust, or the trust that we place in media organizations. And the third example involves Gannett, a major newspaper chain. So here you see on the screen an example of that. It also clearly indicates that this article is AI generated. So that's the difference from Sports Illustrated. But these articles went viral for all the wrong reasons. So instead of providing accurate and engaging reports, the AI wrote stories that were repetitive, lacked critical details, or used awkward language, like you see here on the screen. These errors and poor quality content were quickly noticed and knocked on by on social media, highlighting how AI can struggle when tasked with nuanced reporting. Cadet had to update several of these stories and eventually paused the experiment entirely. This case analyzes a core issue in AI governance, so the balance between automating content production and maintaining journalistic standards. Gannett's AI-generated articles fell short of the quality expected by their readers, raising questions about when and how AI should be integrated into newsrooms. So although Gannett plans to refine his approach, this incident shows how rushing to use AI without proper oversight can lead to reputational damage and public backslash. So let's dive into some practical recommendations how to prevent mistakes like this from occurring. The first fundamental tip, and also Chuck already highlighted it in his first step, is that you should implement a review workflow in all your content creation solutions. If your tool does not support an out-of-the-box review process, look into integrating additional solutions to support this review process. So when implementing the review process, it's important that you position the AI as a co-pilot to support the editing process. So if you place AI in the driver's seat today, your human staff quickly turns into review robots. And so this is very counterproductive and a recipe for mistakes, but also removes the human creative value that enables your content to stand out of the crowd. Very important aspect. Secondly, you need to ensure that external content parties adhere to the same standards and principles as you do. So first of all, you need to be able to easily share your standards. So as Chuck also explained, the standards can be different from company to company. Your risk appetite can be different from company to company. So you need to be able to share your standards with external staff and also update them in case of changes. Secondly, I think it's important to include those standards into your contracts to make adherence legally binding. And thirdly, of course, you need to verify that the standards are followed. And this could be by implementing a review process, or you can do this by implementing AI detection solutions. It is important to realize that these solutions are not yet perfect, but they form a good basis. So if AI is detected not in accordance with your standard, have a conversation with the content editor. It's a good basis to start this discussion. And as a last practical recommendation, it's important that you understand when you must mark AI-generated content and make this an integral part of your policies. So in principle, it is not needed to mark content as AI generated, um, as long as AI is used to support the editorial process. And if the content has undergone a process of human review or editorial control. Take, for example, when you use AI to create a new article or to correct spelling mistakes or to help in your SEO optimization. It is, if AI is, however, used as a bot for automatically producing content without review, the content must be marked accordingly. It's important that you internally discuss and align your standards in this matter and uh, when to disclose that it is AI generated and update your readers accordingly. Also, as a note, please have a look at the policies of third-party channels that you publish to, like, for example, Facebook and Instagram, because these policies might in some cases be stricter than the EU AI Act. As you see, there is a clear and urgent need for governance. And this is where frameworks like NIST or ISO and legislations like the EU AI Act help. Often complying to these frameworks is seen as a burden, but actually these frameworks are here to help us and guide us to implement AI in a responsible way. So this webinar is way too short to go into all the details of the EU AI Act, but let me highlight a few points in how the Act can help you to implement AI responsibly. First of all, what's very important is that the EU AI Act has three main or various risk categories, or classifies AI into various risk categories. So first of all, there's the unacceptable risk. So these applications are banned, so you're not allowed to use them in the EU. I think, for example, of classifying people based on their behavior. The second one is high risk applications, systems such as job application, ranking tools. So these must comply to very strict legal requirements, and so ensuring ethical and safe deployment. And then there are limited risk applications, and this includes generative AI solutions like OpenAI. It is to be expected that AI used for content management typically falls under the limited risk category. For this category, like mentioned before, transparency is key. So by categorizing the AI systems, the Act helps organizations to focus their governance efforts where it is most needed. Then the codes of practice. So these offer detailed guidance on how to comply with the Act's requirements. They provide structured governance frameworks for organizations, helping them adhere to the best practices and avoid non-compliance. This is crucial for organizations looking to develop robust AI governance structures. And lastly, the EU AI Act has the potential to become a global standard for AI governance, like we've seen with GDPR in the past for data privacy. So this encourages companies worldwide to consider the ethical implementation and potential risk of their AI systems. So companies can comply with the EU AI Act. They not only ensure local adherence, but are also in line with global best practices. So, but where do you start? So, how do you implement for example, the EU AI Act? And typically, you start with forming an AI compliance task force, which typically includes your CISO. So this group determines your role in the AI value chain and implements your risk-based framework. But where does this group start? So if they're new to the topic, they need to learn a lot of information, or you need to hire an expert to help this task force with the task at hand. And this is where a solution like WoodWing Scienta can help you do this faster. So it provides a comprehensive and customizable framework for creating, managing, and maintaining your AI policies to ensure compliance in this with the evolving regulations. It provides a system for organizing and updating important documents, making it easier for teams to handle compliance, quality control, and AI governance. So WoodWing Scienta ensures that all your teams, whether they are inside or outside of the organization, can stay on the same page when it comes to following rules and maintaining standards. So Scienta has some very powerful tools for risk management and compliance, but its really strong point is its employee inclusive approach. So here we, for example, see a portal configured for the compliance team to manage risk, standards, and control. So they know all about this topic. For the typical employee, this is quite complex information. But what you can do with Scienta is to service this same information in employee-specific portals, like, for example, the AI handbook that we show here on the screen. So the compliance team can share the most important risks and their measurements very easily with the employees. Next to that, the portal gives quick access to all the knowledge articles about AI. And let me show you one of them. So this is an example of AI in the European context. So the employee can read the information, and when a change happens to this article, the compliance team can send out a read notification, and the user can quickly see and spot the differences in this article. You don't have to read a multi-page document to see what has changed. And lastly, Scienta also comes with forms. So, for example, if you like to request approval for a new AI tool, you can just fill in the form. It's sent to the compliance team. They can review your request, update the documentation, and, for example, approve this AI tool. So, if you if you would like to learn more about Scienta, please reach out to us or schedule a demo via our website. And with that, I think it's time for the panel discussion now. Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Tom. And if you'd like to learn more about AI governance, be sure to check out the link on the right that is providing useful information for AI governance and the risks. We hope you found this session insightful and that you leave with actionable steps to use AI responsibly in your content management efforts. Thank you, everybody, again, and wishing you a lovely day, rest of the day, and hope to see you again in our next webinar. Take care, everybody. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Bye bye.